It's time to jog your memory and remind you of all the amazing fast food items that you can't eat anymore since they disappeared this past decade. Let's hope at least a few of them make a return sometime soon. Taco Bell sure knows how to break its customers' hearts. Why else would the chain remove the most beloved of all menu items? Let's have a moment of silence for the Enchirito, please. This Tex-Mex-inspired burrito-enchilada combination was delicious in all the right ways. It was a burrito covered in cheese, so how could we not love it? The Enchirito had been on the national menu since 1970 after being invented by a Taco Bell crew member. Even though it was taken off the menu in 1993, it returned only 6 years later. But then in 2013, it disappeared again, this time perhaps for good. However, if you become a guru at Taco Bell's customizable ordering system, you can more or less hack the Enchirito. Just order a burrito supreme and ask for sides of red sauce, nacho cheese, sour cream, and 2 sides of the 3-cheese blend. Heat it up, combine it, and celebrate the ultimate burrito hack. McDonald's added the Big and Tasty to its national menu in 2001. It was one of the few McDonald's burgers to include lettuce and tomato. It was also marketed as a rival to Burger King's Whopper, and for a while, it was doing a very good job at being just that. That was until the 1/3 pound Angus burgers were introduced. They were quickly outselling the Big and Tasty, despite being more expensive. Naturally enough, McDonald's was going to stick with the burger that was bringing in more money. As such, the Big and Tasty found itself replaced in 2010 by oatmeal. Yes, McDonald's replaced the Big and Tasty, a burger that was both big and tasty, with oatmeal, which is probably the saddest breakfast to ever be served at McDonald's. But if you're a globetrotter who's really craving a Big and Tasty, it turns out that you can get them in various countries at various times, but just not in the United States. However, you can still order a Big and Tasty in America if you know some creative hacks. Start by ordering a 1/4 pounder with cheese, requesting no ketchup or mustard, and topping it with lettuce, onion, tomato, and Big Mac sauce. The Big and Tasty sauce was smokier than regular Big Mac sauce, but it's close enough that it will give you a fairly close duplicate, though it'll probably end up costing more than the original burger. It's hard to believe that there was once a time when there wasn't bacon and a variety of cheeses on burgers. Perhaps that's why Wendy's Bacon and Blue Burger was such a shock to customers. As the first fast food chain to have a blue cheese-topped burger that was available nationwide, Wendy's set the stage for fast food trends to come all the way back in 2010. This was a luxury burger, what with its thick applewood smoked bacon, real blue cheese crumbles, sautéed onions, lettuce, tomato, and a creamy steakhouse sauce. Alas, it was only with us for a limited time. 5 years after the Bacon and Blue Burger joined and subsequently left Wendy's menu, it returned for a limited time in 2015 on a new brioche bun. However, some customers are still bitter that the chain tends to get rid of its best sandwiches. Chances are we'll see this burger again in the future, maybe even at some point in 2020. It has been 5 years after all. Imagine, if you would, a pillow of pizza 2 feet long and filled with all the standard toppings you know and love. That was the Big Italy pizza from Pizza Hut in 2010. It was so large that it needed its own elongated box and special-made white paper bag. It was only around for a short while, though, disappearing soon after it was released. The Big Italy was created by stretching the dough to its limits, giving the crust a thinner, crispier bite, more similar to real Italian pizza than what's typically associated with Pizza Hut. Customers were torn on this one. Many confessed that they didn't like how the outer pieces had a thicker crust while the middle pieces were thin and soggy. Also, the distribution of toppings was notoriously poor, with the outer pieces barely getting any. On the flip side, some people loved it so much that there was a Facebook group devoted to it. Its most recent posts from 2012 wondered if the rumors of the Big Italy returning were true. Alas, they were not. Hot on the heels of Taco Bell's wildly successful Volcano taco, the Volcano Burrito was a delicious package wrapped up in a tortilla that erupted onto the scene in 2009. With its fried strips of tortilla, cheese, beef, sour cream, and rice, it was, for the most part, a normal burrito. But there was a secret weapon that made it so fiery and so utterly perfect. It's why millions of people cried out in the night when the Volcano Burrito was discontinued. The true loss of this travesty was lava sauce. It was essential to the Volcano Burrito and to the entire Volcano menu. But Taco Bell cruelly ripped it from our taste buds by eliminating it entirely in 2013.
A taste eruption like this won't be active for long.
There was a Change.org petition to bring back the Volcano Burrito, but it didn't lead to anything. Lava sauce did return briefly in 2016 with the limited-time-only Volcano Quesarito, but if you still thirst after it, you're pretty much out of luck. Taco Bell, if you're watching, we still miss lava sauce. Upon first hearing the name Pickle Fried Chicken, most people probably made a face of pure disgust. But while the name may have been weird, the execution earned plenty of grins of satisfaction. This sandwich undoubtedly came from the pickle trend of 2018. Launching on June 25, 2018, KFC's Pickle Fried Chicken took the chain's fried chicken offerings, then smothered them in a thick, creamy buttermilk-based pickle sauce that contained dill, garlic, vinegar, and black and white pepper. And the whole thing was topped with actual pickles, of course.
There's like a tanginess, but it's not outright pickle.
So is that good?
Uh-huh.
It was, honestly, very good. If you liked pickles even just a little bit, you surely loved this sandwich. A perfect combination of buttery meets savory, the Pickle Fried Chicken won over both pickle lovers and the pickle skeptical. The tragedy was, alas, that it was only around for a limited time. A very limited time, as in until supplies ran out at your local KFC limited time. Pickle Fried Chicken, you're dearly missed. Sometimes you need a little pep in your step, and a spicy breakfast might just be the thing to help you along. At least, that's what a lot of people were thinking when it came to Chick-Fil-A's Spicy Chicken Biscuit. But when it was announced that it was being discontinued in 2016, people had a monumental meltdown on social media. However, since it accounted for only a depressing 0.5% of breakfast sales, it was never going to the top of the breakfast food charts. So Chick-fil-A removed this option from its breakfast menu in favor of the new Egg White Grill. In early 2019, the chain was testing a new version of the Spicy Chicken Biscuit using its chicken strips, but it didn't take hold as it's currently not on the breakfast menu. While you can get the sandwich version for lunch and dinner still, there's apparently no room anymore at Chick-fil-A for spicy breakfast. Or almost no room. It turns out that the Spicy Chicken Biscuit isn't entirely extinct, as there are 44 cities where you can still get it. It's unclear what makes these specific locations so blessed, but who's up for a road trip to find out? French toast is one of those breakfasts that was usually saved for a special occasion when you were growing up.
Okay, what do you want for breakfast?
Some French toast.
French toast. You want French toast, you got it.
Whenever you got to indulge in all that thick bread soaked in eggs and milk that was then grilled to perfection before being drenched in syrup, those were the days. When you're an adult, French toast tends to find its way into decadent, overpriced brunches, but there's always just been something about the simplicity of French toast that makes it so delicious. Perhaps that's why Sonic decided to cash in on that nostalgia and ring in 2015 with its French toaster breakfast sandwich. A delicious combination of sweet and savory, the French toaster sandwiched eggs, cheese, and a choice of ham, bacon, or sausage between 2 pieces of French toast. How's that for a fast food breakfast? Someone even wrote an essay for Chowhound about how he drove 20 miles to try it. Now that's a testament to deliciousness. While it could be ordered throughout the day, as breakfast is suitable at all hours, it was only available for a limited time. But that limited time wasn't long enough, as this is one item we desperately need back on Sonic's menu. Customers sure do like making petitions for menu items they'd like back. While a Change.org petition for Wendy's Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty only has 9 supporters, we'd like to think their hearts were in the right place. After all, Wendy's made sure to market this spin on its classic Frosty towards the caffeine junkies, working adults, and the overly exhausted who wanted something sweet. Also, it had a hilarious boy band-inspired commercial and celebrity fans like Seth Green. This 2009 rendition of Wendy's famous frozen treat was infused with coffee syrup and toffee pieces, making for a drinkable dessert with a nice mocha taste. It's hard to hate a Frosty, and it's unfathomable to dislike a Frosty that has coffee and candy in it. Despite people really liking it, and despite its absolutely ridiculous name, it didn't sell well and was discontinued in 2011, 2 years after its reveal. Still, 2 years is a longer shelf life than a lot of other dearly departed items. Taco Bell teased and hyped up its breakfast offerings for quite a while before releasing them. Among the offerings was the slightly soggy but still delicious Waffle taco stuffed with egg and a choice of sausage or bacon. The entire idea of a taco made out of a waffle is pure genius. Taco Bell knew what it was doing. Sort of. Alas, the Waffle Taco was not long for this world. A year after its national release, it was sidelined for the Biscuit Taco in 2015. There are a couple of reasons why the Waffle Taco is waffling no more. It wasn't the best seller from the Taco Bell breakfast menu, lagging behind the AM Crunch Wrap. Also, Taco Bell was in a deep and vigorous battle with McDonald's that was dubbed the Breakfast Wars. McDonald's had biscuits, and Taco Bell needed biscuits. So they said adios to waffles.
In terms of whether they can chip away at McDonald's market share, I think they definitely can, and I think that McDonald's is worried about that.
Taco Bell executives knew that while the Waffle Taco was flashy and briefly got people's attention, it didn't hold their attention. Thus, the Waffle Taco did all the work, but got none of the credit. McDonald's Mighty Wings had a somewhat turbulent history. Originally launched in 1990, they lasted on the menu until 2003. They were re-released 10 years later as a limited edition item, and a limited edition item they remained. These bone-in chicken wings got high praise for being larger than typical wings, as well as being moist and pretty darn tasty. However, the spicy breading was off-putting to many customers. Also, there were complaints that the wings weren't easy to sauce. But since these were fast food wings, there's only so much people should have expected. They were also a bit expensive for McDonald's, with each wing costing roughly $1. The price may have been the kicker. The sales for Mighty Wings were 20% lower than McDonald's executives had expected, which probably inhibited any chance of them becoming a permanent menu item. They were a gamble gone wrong, especially since the company had over 10 million pounds of wings hanging out in storage. Mighty Wings returned in 2016 for a limited time in Atlanta, but there's been no sight of them since then. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more mashed videos about your favorite fast food are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.